morning, everyone. So I thought it would be like what I wanted to present today is kind of different from what we have been talking. Okay? It's a little progressive in nature, and I thought beyond 2026 had that hashtag AI supremacy, right? So why not talk something about the future? So we have all been talking about systems. We know systems for a very long period of time. I think the first set of computers were discovered back in 1800s, late of 1800s. But then computers became usable because of something which is called as operating systems. But here's the trivia. Do you know that in 1940s and 1950s there were computers without operating system? Anybody who's interacted on a computer without an operating system? You have? Okay. So I have. This predates me significantly. But what I've realized from a lot of reading is there used to be something called as machine code or binary code. Maybe, sir, you might have done that. Okay? Because you need to have punch cards, okay, to actually embed in your computers to even open a Chrome. Although Chrome did not exist, it was not at the click of a button. From there, it has evolved a lot. So let me start with a video about the evolution of operating systems. No voice. Audio. Sorry, 𝗕𝗵𝗱𝗆 law. The audio not coming through? No? Okay. Alright. So unfortunately I can't play the entire video, but what it basically shows is that 1940s, 1950s we had operating systems. We had computers without operating systems. Then came the phase of automation. You must have heard of Unix and Linux, right? That was the automation phase. Then it became Windows, right? But actually in 1990s, computers became really useful because of GUI, which is graphical user interface, right? That's where Mac OS, okay, Windows 95, it made life a lot easier. Even IBM had something called as DOS, right? But now we are in the age of iOS, Android, distributed computing, right? But that has been there from mid of 2000s, right? Like between 2000 to 2010, a lot of progress was made around iOS and Android. But since then, have we seen any kind of major progression happening? I don't think I have seen. Yes, version upgrades are happening, but I haven't seen anything major. That's the topic that I wanted to cover today. Now, if you look at the evolution of operating systems for the last 10 decades, it went from being passive, where the humans had to put in commands. Then it went to a reactive phase. And what I'm envisioning, and this is futuristic in nature, is that this will become proactive in nature. Now this is where an agentic operating system comes in. So I said at the beginning of my presentation that I will talk about systems with an AI twist, right? So this is where an agentic operating system comes in. Now, do we have an agentic operating system right now? I haven't seen one yet, but what it does, it's a layer on top of your operating system which can have complete autonomy with certain bit of human in the loop. It activates with, you have a goal and it completes the goal. And how does it achieve autonomy and the goal orientation? Because it has the entire context. Now today, if you open your iOS phones or your Android phones, you have multiple apps running together. Are the apps talking to each other? No, right? Today I have Chrome, right? I'm opening 𝗕𝗏𝗆. I'm opening another app, right? Are those applications talking to each other? No. The idea of an agentic operating system is a layer on top of, just so that you imagine, iOS or an Android, which actually does the talking and finishes the goal or the task in your mind. Okay? So what changes in practice from an actual industry standpoint? We have been talking about agents, agentic AI for a very long period of time, right? And we have been talking about agents in expenses, which is finance. We have been talking about agents in the HR domain, sales domain, so many different domains we have individual agents. But these are individual agents doing a task for themselves. Correct? Right? Now, have we ever tried to connect the system? Let's say today, if the legal team takes a decision, would it not have an impact on HR? Or would it not have an impact on the finance? Do we have a system where the legal team in association with a human, which is augmented intelligence, let's say through an agent, takes a decision? How does it actually impact the HR? How does it actually impact your finance team? How does it actually impact your business teams, right? There's no connection. So we have a set of individual agents doing tasks for themselves. But there's no communication between the agents in reality. That's where this brain sits in the middle, where it tries and connects the dot between the systems, between the agents. Now, when I was talking about this 4 or 5 months back within Albertsons, we were talking about, oh, we have this concept called as A to A. Google invented A to A, almost it's been a year right now. Isn't A to A doing what it's supposed to do? The answer is no. These are again individual agents which run in sequence. An agent to agent protocol is 2 agents, one passing information to another. But it's within the same goal orientation. It cannot connect across goals to eventually the final end objective or the outcome. Alright? So imagine in a retail system, I'll just give you a few examples before I move on. Imagine a retail system. Maybe we are a fast fashion business, right? We drop prices for our jeans. Now, we have an agent with human in the loop which does the demand forecasting, the pricing elasticity, the optimization, the markdown changes, and that's why the pricing has dropped. Obviously, it gets validated by the human, right? But a change in the price of a certain category, wouldn't it impact the set of customers that I have to target? Is this information flowing seamlessly? Because the merchandising team does take a decision unanimously for themselves, right? To improve their own, let's say, revenue percentage, right? Or the top line or the bottom line. But at the same time, if the CRM or your CVM systems do not receive this information from your merchandising group, does it actually help in the first place? No, it doesn't, right? Because the pricing, the change in the pricing needs to be communicated to the customer. Imagine the same example where the pricing has changed. Wouldn't my inventory management system needs to be informed that if it's a permanent change or a temporary change? If it's not informed, my ordering system goes for a toss. Right? So this is what we have been grappling over the last few months, saying that we are almost like across 5 or 6 different systems, we are almost there with this connection available. Something that I would recommend everybody to try out. Again, does it solve for the agentic operating system? The answer is no. But there's a new technology that Claude has come up with, Claude Managed Agents. It helps you achieve there. But we have been, Claude Managed Agents was released only like a couple of months back. But imagine the system with the help. If we had Claude Managed Agents like 4 or 5 months back, I think we would have made us more progress than what we have made right now. But it's an emerging field. There's no right answer. Can a big tech company do this for us? The answer is no. Can GCCs take the lead? Can enterprises take the lead? Because we have all the knowledge. We can connect the dot across all our systems. It's complicated systems, whether it be it BFSI, retail, manufacturing. These are all complicated systems. So we need to make sure that this knowledge of systems talking to each other is actually fed into an orchestration layer which sits on top of a set of vertical agents, which are again doing their individual tasks. Why is this required again? The orchestration layer actually has all of this business context, which then tells you, okay, today, how much memory do I need for this agent, this entire agentic operating system to run? Just like our operating system runs. At one point of time, if you have 20 applications open, you'll run out of memory. Your RAM goes for a toss, right? Therefore, this orchestration system, it's not just a software, but it has a lot of hardware component embedded as part of it, which actually solves for us. From a future implication standpoint, at least I feel, again, from an enterprise standpoint and from my last 2 decades in the field of data and AI, this would absolutely redefine the human-computer interaction. Okay? And finally, this will also lead to new paradigms of productivity. So, in short, what I was talking about in over the last 10 minutes or so, we're seeing that this is the future. We would have something called as an agentic operating system. It's just a matter of time. And the organizations who want to lead this needs to be really, really progressive, because nobody can help us build this. The organizations, the enterprises, the GCCs have to build this because they have the knowledge. Just using technology will not help you build an agentic operating system. I wanted to finish my presentation with a video. I am not sure again if the voice will play. Audio? No? Thank you once again, a topic very close to my heart, and if you are interested to do this